Hi, everybody. My name is Sean O'Kane with Chip Estimate TV and ChipEstimate.com. I have my frequent guest joining us again this month is John Blyler, Editor-in-Chief of Chip Design and Embedded Intel magazines. And John also writes a blog on ChipEstimate.com twice a week. It's called IP Insider. Thank you very much for joining us, John.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. You just got back from Design West, formerly Embedded Systems Conference. Tell us a little bit about what went down, and was there much discussion about semiconductor IP?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, there was. Certainly at a show like Design West, Embedded Systems, there's lots of software, embedded board-level systems, and whatnot. But there were several discussions that touched on our world as well, semiconductor IP. And let me just cite one. I talked with the director at Minilogic, and Minilogic is a technology cluster based in Grenoble, and it works with the government and academia and ST Micro and folks like that. And they had, of course, a number of companies there, technology startups, like the Igloo community and Tempo IC and Colray and Dosia, that all play in this space of embedded hardware and software. I wrote a blog about some of the things that they were doing. I got a comment back from a reader who had mentioned that what enables all of this is the open source software and open source hardware platforms. And of course, open source is pretty well developed. Open hardware is getting there, has a little ways to go. The logical question from that, though, is what about open IP as it applies in the semiconductor world?
Well, that's interesting because many of our IP partners within ChipEstimate.com rely on licensing their IP to a very large design community. That's their revenue model. But if you're talking about free IP, kind of in a funny way, sounds like the Soprano model. You give, I'm going to give you a little bit of IP, a little bit of our tools, and then when we make the chip, you give me a little bit more on the back end. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe that's how this whole system works.
I like that. The Soprano model of IP. That's excellent. Yeah. And really, I mean, it's pretty close to that. Artisan back in the late 90s, I believe it was, and of course ARM picked that up, first introduced this idea of providing IP to their community, to their developers, and then getting the return from that investment with the foundries on the back end per chip that's actually made with the IP. So not a bad model at all. It allows, I think, a lot of fabless and startup companies to get into the game.
Tell us a little bit about MIPS. I know there's been some word on the street that they want to do something, maybe sell. I know that MIPS or Synopsys had picked up a big chunk of their analog IP a few years back, which is really interesting, but are they in the market?
They are. I think most folks know that they've been in the market for a little while now. Bloomberg report confirmed that just recently. They hired, MIPS has hired a Goldman Sachs, I believe it is, to try and find, connect with some potential buyers. And as you noted, Synopsys, maybe Qualcomm, one of the big licensees of ARM, might be a potential buyer. One other interesting rumor is that perhaps the Chinese, where a lot of MIPS architecture is being used, and readers might remember some of the Godson discussions from years ago, might be a buyer as well. The Chinese angle seems a little less likely just because China seems more interested in products as opposed to IP or license or copyright issues, things like that.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, John. Don't forget to read John Blyler's blog on ChipEstimate.com twice a week. It's called IP Insider. So for John Blyler, my name is Sean O'Kane. Thank you for joining us on Chip Estimate TV.